This is Bob Rourke with Business Leaders Podcast, and we have a special treat. We have Kim Peterson Stone on. She is the founder and CEO of Linkability. Kim and I, she's been a previous guest before. We're good friends. We talk all the time. And we thought we would take and put on an episode given the current environment. And Kim, you work with people in the LinkedIn space, and during this coronavirus, COVID, whatever they want to call it, timeframe, what are you seeing out there, and what should folks be considering as it relates to their business and LinkedIn?
Well, first of all, I'm glad to be here, Bob. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I think it's a wonderful idea things have shifted over the past month or so. And since this whole thing started, we've been inundated with people kind of, what is it that I should be doing? Whether you're in middle management and you're concerned about what your organization is going to be doing, maybe you need to make a pivot. How do I do that? That's some projects that we're working on there. A corporate presence, you had a game plan and things that you were going to be doing. You were going to be going to events and doing all these wonderful things. And all of a sudden, that wording is no longer appropriate. And you need to roll that back in and shift and change your narrative. We've been working with organizations that way. So it's really, and then we're getting a wave of people also that really have not been that active on LinkedIn and are now thinking, wow, I'm not going to these events. I'm not being able to get out there and get in front of people. How do I use LinkedIn to do that? So those three things are happening in droves right now. And it's a really good time to kind of get your feet under you in all of those areas, depending on which aspect is affecting you right now.
I think in talking to clients of various types of jobs and in various businesses and so on, and I think some are at home, some are working remote, some are working remote for the very first time, and I think given that environment, I think there's been some insights that are starting to gain, and I think and for many of the folks when they're at home, they're going. I've been encouraging folks to get at least one thing done while you're at home, one accomplishment. One of the things that you can really do if we don't know how long we're going to be doing this at-home gig is to take a look at what you're doing on LinkedIn. How does it look? How's it perceived? Is it useful? Or is it just an, oh, yes, I have one? So, to that end, when you're thinking about, when you look at somebody's LinkedIn site, what are you thinking when you look at them, and what are you seeing now?
Well, the big thing is, are you positioned to be found? So is your profile structured in such a way that you will be found for the things that you want to be found for? And so that would mean that you've got to take a look at your headline. What wording are you using? What industry are you in? Are there any catchphrases that you should be using within your headline so that it's not just a title and your company, but you're actually indicating what it is that you do, or more importantly, the problems that you solve, right? Whether you're looking to get hired or whether you're looking to attract clientele, you need to be clearly defining what problems that you solve. So number one, the headline needs to indicate that.
Okay, so for example, in your headline, what do you have in your headline as an illustration?
You know what? I will give you actually even something that I tell clients all the time as a cheat that you really want to do, like a ninja trick. Here's what you want to do. Everything in your LinkedIn profile, you want to keep it in a Google Doc or whatever you use, a Word doc or whatever. And you want to date it. You want to say, okay, this is 4/24/20, and my headline says this, the graphic says that, my summary section says this. Then you can monitor the types of people that are hitting your profile. Are these the people that you're wanting to get in front of, or are these people that are just trying to sell you something? So
where do you monitor that at?
If you go actually down towards the middle of your profile, and if I was sharing a screen, I could show you. And this is going to be backwards.
Oh, that looks good. Yeah, that looks good.
So your dashboard is where you would go. Oops,
okay.
There we go. So it's going to tell you, how often, and I'm sorry about that for being backwards, but for who has viewed your profile. If you have a Sales Navigator account, then you can go back as long as you want. If you have a free LinkedIn account, I want to say they're always changing that, but maybe you could go back like a week. That changed That's very, very helpful, because if someone hits your account that you want to start a conversation with, you can always ping them right back and say, hey, Bob, I see that you hit my account last week, and I see that you're also involved with XYZ. Is there anything that I can help you with? Or did you have a question for me? Is there
Mhm.
anything I can help you out with? It's just very, very, very helpful. But it can tell you whether or not what you're saying is on point, if it's attracting the right people. That's
Yeah.
very important.
You're A/B testing your
So
headline.
always, always. So for example, what I've done recently is because there's two schools of thought, and you can go short and sweet, or you can stuff as many keywords as possible, and that would be done using the app. So you can't do that on your computer. You would only be able to do that on the app. So what I've done recently, actually it was, gosh, maybe 5 days ago, I changed my headline to founder, CEO, Linkability Inc., expert LinkedIn solutions for world-class professionals, period. What I had been doing is stuffing that headline with about 3 lines, LinkedIn training for teams, enterprise LinkedIn solutions. I was trying to plug that word in there as
Mhm.
often as possible to come up in search terms. And now I'm flipping it. It's very important, because whenever you comment on anything in LinkedIn or you come up in a search, that is what people are going to see first. So you want to make sure you quickly catch their attention, and you cut through the noise. What is it really that you're doing?
Mhm.
So for me, this is something that's new, and I'll evaluate it after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, and I can compare that with what I was doing 3 months ago, 4 months ago. But you always have the ability to move that,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't take advantage of that. It's very, very powerful when you know how to use
You
it.
know, and so you need to think about it, folks go, boy, are you just obsessed with just that top line? And you go,
Mm,
well, no, I'm not just obsessed about that one, but it's important and relevant because that's what people see.
right.
You know,
And
and
Google too. LinkedIn sees it, people see it, and Google sees it. So you're quite likely to come up 1, 2, or 3 in search in LinkedIn on Google. And people are Googling you. People are checking you out. Whether you're comfortable with that or not, it's a fact. So it's better that you control that rather than just having missing information be representing you out there.
and so as we're sitting here thinking, and so the business owner is going like, and you're going like, I'm sort of lost in space, and yeah, I and to kind of preface this a little bit at the tail end, there's going to be a summary sheet that Kim's put together and is kind enough to share. And so you'll be able to reach out to Kim, and we'll get the contact information here in just a little bit. And then if you're further stuck in the mud, you kind of go, I've heard this before and I'm just having a hard time getting started. Kim's also offered to do an assessment, a free assessment of your page. And that will be found also on the PDF outline of what we're talking about today. So that's coming toward the tail end. So stick around. As we talk about the headline, and then there's the summary part. And folks
Right.
go, really? There's another part? But yeah, there's another part. So what should they be thinking about in the summary space?
In the summary space with clients, we always take them through a questionnaire first, and they fill out this questionnaire, and it causes them to think about their business in a different way. We tend to get so absorbed in our own stuff, right? We're very, very familiar with what we do. We're very, very sure of our world, but we're not necessarily very good at conveying that information to other people. So we take them through a questionnaire where they actually fill out what it is that you really do. What service do you really provide? What benefits do clients have after working with you? What are you really proud of? So that the summary is not at all like a resume, in days of old, a resume. It really is the value that you're bringing to the organization and the value that you bring to the people that you serve. So if you convey that very well, very succinctly, and then either have a CTA, a call to action at the bottom of that, or not, that's up to you, then you really are getting your message across as to exactly what you do and exactly how you can benefit someone who hops
Mhm.
onto your profile. So, and that too, the very top couple of sentences there, super critical to get people to want to dig deeper. And not a lot of people are really super comfortable with writing. So if you're not, get help. That's something that we do as well, as we help to craft the entire profile so that it all is nice and neat and clean, and it works alongside the brand, whatever brand you're
You know, and
representing.
as we talk about this, you and I've been through this drill. You've done this for me, and we've worked together on this topic on my LinkedIn profile and so on. And the business owners going
Mhm.
like, "Wow, we haven't even got past the headline and the summary yet." And I'm at home and or I'm working remote, and you go, so now that that's done, you go, "Well, what kind of, maybe they had some little bit of LinkedIn presence before, maybe." And you go,
Mhm.
now that I'm at home, I'm really needing to up my game in this particular tool. So if they had previous messaging, what advice might you have for the previous messaging? And then what would you do with current or future messaging to the folks that they're trying to reach out to?
First of all, as a rule, the rules have been changing almost every day. So what we used to do for what we call our power presence clients, the clients that we actually help to create content for, we disseminate the content, we create videos and articles and posts and all of that. We usually would get like a month of content going in the hopper a month ahead of time. And then it starts its process of being created. We're about 2 weeks ahead. We're nice and full. We know what's coming up. Well, all those rules have totally changed. So now it's kind of on a day by day basis. A lot of companies are reporting on what they're doing. Maybe they're working on fundraising efforts, or they're helping with food banks, or their organization has shifted gears to kind of help us move through this situation. Maybe they're in healthcare and they've pivoted. We have clients in telehealth and other areas. They've made a huge pivot. Fiduciary, financial services, very much needing to shift the narrative and what they're talking about. So what has happened is there is no planning out of 6 months in advance or 3 months in advance or even a month in advance. So you need to be much more on your toes with a positive forward message. Certainly not getting caught up in politics, not getting caught up in hearsay, but marching forward with what you're all about at this moment. And then planning accordingly, knowing what we do know right now. The remote work world has changed dramatically. Some people are embracing it. Other industries are like, yeah, we kind of don't really like this. We're going to need to figure something else out. But I think on the other side of this, there will be adjustments in different industries as a result of what we're going through right now. So don't beat yourself up for thinking that you have to have all of this amazing stuff laid out for 30 days in advance or 60 days in advance. You really don't. You need to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on, share what's relevant now, and
Okay, so
then work.
I'm the Luddite business owner, right? For folks that don't know Luddite, I'm slow, which you would probably agree, but nonetheless. So you're going finger on the pulse of what's happening in your industry, and you kind of go, where am I going to find what's going on and relevant? One is Google Trends. Google Trends for
Mhm.
your industry is a good place. What other resources might you be looking at, whether it's internal to LinkedIn or external, so you're understanding what trends are relevant in your industry and how you can use that to communicate with your clients?
So within LinkedIn, LinkedIn is always like on the right hand side of your screen on your laptop. They're always trying to push whatever is trending towards you, and that you know the algorithm tries to make it line up with what you're talking about, but it's not always completely accurate. Something that is often overlooked in LinkedIn that is absolutely a brilliant tool is the search bar. So you can go up on the search bar and you could do hashtag searches for content
Oh, you know what?
around.
For just a second, all right, for those folks that, let's see, can I do this? All right,
Just share and show.
yeah, here's the search bar right up here for those that don't know. You see it all right,
Yep,
Kim? All right,
yep,
so
yep.
let's say we wanted to take and search for, I don't know, Kim, you got a thought?
Well, if you wanted to search for COVID 19 right now and see what you need to put a hashtag in front of the word.
Well, there you go. See, there's
So,
COVID-19,
and then so
and
now
there's,
it will give you the so 503,000 people are following that right now.
mhm.
This is the content of people talking about it. So say for example your organization is doing something surrounding this topic right now. you can go in and take all of that commentary there, and you can make comments. Oh gosh, we're involved with it this way, or we're doing
Hmm.
it that way, or whatever. You can search groups, people, content, companies, jobs, just in that search bar with whatever terminology is good for
Yeah,
you. It
and
is
precede it, unlike I did, with a hashtag, so it gets found. Like you could do hashtag PPP, I suppose, and that's the current
yes,
government funding. And
Care Act, fiduciary. Yep, yep,
so
yep.
you, for the guys sitting there go, okay, so that's relevant content that I can look for, whether it's industry specific or specific to my clients, or I can take and say, hey, really good articles, send it out to your clients. And then I don't know if there's a good understanding of groups and how that might affect what you're doing and whether you belong to a group. So again, Kim, can you share your screen and talk about groups?
Yep, I can. Whoops. I am not set up here. Let me just kind of see what we've got
See if I let you.
going on.
Yeah, there we go. And so for you guys, they're going like, this is a how-to. And
Mhm.
and for those that don't know, Kim's an absolute wizard on LinkedIn, had been doing this a long time. And how many people are following you now as a thought leader?
A little over 235,000
So,
as of
and you
now.
lecture and talk on this all the time. So
Thank
I just think
you.
it's important for people to see this. And there's groups, and that's found under the workspace.
Yes, so this is a great starting point. So LinkedIn Learning. Now I have Sales Navigator on my account. So I
Mhm.
pay for that monthly fee, and it's wildly helpful. The first few years I did not have it. I've only been using it for about 2 years now, and it's crazy. That's an entirely different discussion above and beyond LinkedIn. Very, very helpful. But you're looking at someone who has a Sales Navigator account if the screen looks different than yours. But in
Mhm.
groups, particularly if you're needing to pivot, whether you're needing to pivot your organization or you need to pivot you can search groups in any subject at all. So say for example, let's just do, whoops, if I can spell. Say we did do telehealth, and we do want to look at that. See that this, again, with the search bar here,
Mhm.
doing the hashtag will bring up the content and allow you to see how many people are following it, but you don't necessarily have to have that. This is going to let me search for telehealth in people, in jobs, in content, or in companies,
Groups.
schools, or groups. So say I wanted to find a job or share information or whatever, these are all my choices here.
And you
And
could
as you can
request to
see,
join. Yeah.
yep, yep, yep. So you request to join. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, if you're wanting to make a pivot, maybe you're wanting to build your network with people above and beyond what you currently have. Maybe
Mhm.
if you're looking to pivot and get into something new, that's what you want to do. So you can request to join the group, and then you can start hopping into some of these conversations.
And, and I think too, one, you're getting known in the group, and the other part, you're seeing what's important to the group, and maybe some of the articles that are coming from the group you can share with your folks, and then concurrently,
Right.
let's say you have content that you are willing to share with a group, and you
Correct.
can take and post it to groups, and so
Right.
you can reach
Right.
out
So
to a lot of people, and it compare and contrast.
targeted.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, it targeted people. So if you were to share this on your feed in the main area, it would go out to your group if this was your post. But if you wanted to target it to these specific people, then you could do that within groups. So it's another way of multi-purposing content and getting yourself in front of
And it goes to
people.
everybody in that group. It doesn't go to a
Correct.
fraction of that group like Facebook.
Right.
It's different. It goes to all of them. So that's a way to magnify your message and really take and be up to speed on what's bothering you or what's on everybody's mind. And so,
Right.
we've talked about um, getting
And
your
you could do,
your. Go ahead.
just really quickly, Bob, you can do that on your profile or excuse me, your corporate page as well.
Hmm.
So say you are doing updates, like people that are in fiduciary right now are going crazy trying to keep up with questions, CPAs, lawyers, business law, all of that, right?
Hmm.
Well, here's a great place to park that information on your corporate page. So this is our corporate page, and we are discussing things that are timely to what's going on. This is, that would be generic. This would be very timely. This is not necessarily on brand. It's just like, hey, this is what happened. This is happening right now. Let's focus on some solutions. This is what people need to know. Boom. So that's an example. Shifting gears. This was a live event that we did a couple of weeks ago, but this was before everything happened. So this was standard stuff that we're putting out, great information, good, very nice. But now it's like, oh, put on the brakes, pump the brakes. Now we need to take action, and here's where we go. So you can do that on groups, you can do that in your corporate page, and you can do that within your own profile. So you have a lot of room to move to get in front of the people that you want to get in front of.
And and for communication with those groups, a lot of folks go, well, I'm not all that adept at writing, but I can talk to people really well. You could shoot a video very quickly, and you can upload video very easily to LinkedIn. And then
Right.
you want
Right.
to
And
expand
that,
on that? Yeah.
yes, the thing that will set you apart from 99.9% of the people on LinkedIn is to use the little message area there. So you see the little bars on your app. The app can be incredibly powerful. When I was back in the day, I think this was before the app launched. I was
And
contacted
so
by,
for people like me, you won't find this on your desktop. You have to use your
right.
smartphone or smart device to find what you're
Yes.
talking about. So you got to do it on your phone.
Yes. So this is where all messages and communication go with the people that you're talking to on LinkedIn. So if you want to send a message, that's great. But if you really want to get someone's attention, so my friend Bob, I am
Hmm.
going to click this little microphone here.
Hmm.
And I'm going to say, thanks so much, Bob, for having me on the podcast. It was really great being there and talking to everyone. Send. Now Bob gets a little message from me, which is going to set me apart from all of the other people who are using spammy
And
techniques,
how
apps.
that looks, we're going to show that right now. And how that looks is this is the message right here from Kim that she just sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you click on it,
To
it
that
will,
on your lap.
yeah, so it will play, from there. So you can reach out to somebody, hey, sorry, I missed the appointment, or I really want to talk to you. There's something really important. And people go like,
Yep.
that's cool, because I don't think that's widely known. I
No,
don't
it's
think.
not. Very, very few people use it. And if once you start getting savvy with this, because a lot of people say, oh my gosh, it's something else I need to learn. It takes too much time. Oh, you wind up saving so much time when you have everything
Hmm.
put together. You got the foundation down, the profile's where it needs to be. You know how to use the machine. Then you incorporate that with using the app, and it is just boom, 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 something that you can do consistently for short amounts of time, consistently gets really big results.
And so
Isn't
what we
that
were
amazing?
talking about, is we talked about first, make sure your headline squared away, summary's good. So they kind of see the story. So they get the message.
Yep.
Oh, and if you don't really know how to craft your story, Building a Story Brand by Don Miller. I have no affiliation with Don Miller, but his book is excellent. And he
Yep.
really sets it up where you go, oh, this is the solution I provide. And if you
Mm-hmm.
can't say it in one sentence, then people won't get it. And then we were talking about how to go through and start finding people either in groups or individuals or by interest. All right. But you're really good at setting up a structure, Kim, when you tell people, I want you to take and do the following actions on a daily basis. And so
Yes.
let's go through those a little bit and kind of the reason behind it.
Well, the algorithms love consistency. The algorithms are always changing, always. But like any other social platform, the objective of the social platform is to get you to stay on the social platform. So it's going to give love to people who are kicking out content that's being engaged with consistently. So actually, just before we hopped on, I was on the phone with a brand new client who is a VP in a large organization. Their marketing team does a great job on their LinkedIn page, which is a blessing. Not everybody has that as an asset, but they do. It's great, engaging content, fantastic. She's like, well, I don't really know how to use this thing. Well, no problem. We will get you buffed and polished. You're going to look amazing. And guess what? You don't even need to worry about creating your own content because your company's doing that for you. So there's a lot of organizations where the marketing department is spinning things off, but as an individual, you're not really thinking about, well, how could that help me? Well, it can help you by sharing that information. So if you put together a schedule, like once a week, I'm going to share an article, or a couple times a month, I'm going to share a feed post or whatever. You can certainly get more aggressive with this, and the more aggressive you get, the more eyeballs you're going to get on things. But that will start to have the algorithms give you love and have you get seen. And as people are commenting and sharing, you're getting seen not only by your network, but by their network. So there are a lot of sophisticated things you could do in that regard within an organization to really help an organization push a narrative. For example, there are many, many things that can be done strategically, but the bottom line is you've got to get out there and you've got to be consistent. So that's the first thing that I tell
And you've got to serve. You've got to serve. It's
yeah.
not, it's you serve,
Yeah.
teach, and share insight.
Yes, yes, yes. Because ultimately, it really doesn't matter if you're running a company or you're looking for a job or you're pivoting your career or whatever you're doing. You have to be solving someone else's problem.
Mm-hmm.
We all do that.
Yep.
We all are problem solvers in whatever it is that we do. If you convey that to people, then they get it. Oh, that's who I go to help me with it. Because when you have a problem, you want that problem solved. And if you go to the person who is the solver of your problem, you're super happy. So that really isn't selling. You're not selling. The people that get it wrong are the people that say, oh, I want to do, and this is very, I'll give this as a warning. This is something that is very commonplace, but it's highly frowned upon by LinkedIn and will get you banned. Using third-party software on your LinkedIn profile. There are companies that do it, and there are cheating. Remember a couple years ago there was a big deal about people and their Twitter followers, and they were all fake, they were all robots and all that. It makes you look horrible, right? And this is your name that we're talking about. This isn't a marketing campaign that you can hide behind of your organization. Oh, those guys did it, I had nothing to do with it. No, this is your name. So if you get banned for trying to cheat the system, it looks really bad on you. And if you can't be found by LinkedIn, that looks very kind of like
by omission. Yeah.
Very, right, exactly. So you don't want to do those kind of things. So you want to do the things that are right, that the algorithms will love you and the LinkedIn machine will love you. And then you can get in front of those people that you really want to get in front of. Share the fact that you're solving problems. Here's how we do it. Here are some of the things that you may have an interest in. Go in that way, and then it changes the sales game entirely.
Well, I think about blast marketing, and working on LinkedIn. In these days, you're going like, my budget is here, there, and yon. My cash flow is snug right now, being polite. And you kind of go, what are you going to do? And you can start going out, and on the platform, you can message, you can send out, you can get content, and
Yep.
the opportunity cost is your time.
Yep.
Really. And so you look at
Yep.
that and you go, is it an overnight solution to your problem? No, it's not. But
It's a
if
long game.
if you have clients now, one of the things I would urge you to do is go out and go, what's bothering you now? And talk to enough of them. If you hear the same thing repetitively, you know what solutions you should be providing is the problems that they keep having. And, and go, what's the problem in my industry? Talk to the industry leaders and thought leaders and centers of influence. Find out what they're saying. Then start talking and providing solutions on those problems. And LinkedIn, and pretty soon, folks will go, this guy or this lady has the solution to your problem. And so I think about that. People go, well, I don't know how to get started. Talk to your clients, talk to your peers, talk to the influencers, read what they're doing, follow them. Then that will get your
Right.
content going. So we talked about videos, we talked about audio, you talked about using the app, and you go to the app store and download it. So it's not a hard thing to do. And then if you don't really know what you're doing on LinkedIn, then under the groups, or under the work matrix there, you can find training, which is good to do. And then one of the things that people do, and if you want better results, you've got to track. Why don't we talk just a little bit about how to track progress so you don't feel like you're just whistling in the wind?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can track from a content standpoint, you can track the engagement that you get with your content. So is it resonating with people? Are
How
they
do you do that?
commenting?
How do you
So
take it?
you can on the there's more sophisticated ways of doing this as well, but the free version of LinkedIn that is available to everybody is, again, your dashboard. So that would tell you that when you see post views on that, that is just the last post that you did. So you may have done that an hour ago, and it will tell you how many people have seen that particular post. And you can kind of rate, oh, well, this post gets a lot more eyeballs on it than that kind of post. So maybe I'm going to do more of this kind of thing. So you can
It's
track
immediate
that. And
feedback. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So you can really hone in and really see what's going on there. Obviously, with your network, you can track how many people are in your network. So you mentioned earlier, Bob, the number of followers that my personal profile has, which is over 250,000 followers. Those are people that I don't have any control over. I can't go out and seek followers. They need to come to me. I can't influence that except for by creating content that people are interested in. Then they can click a button and follow me. My network is something totally different. Those are people that I'm connected with. So my network is much, much smaller on purpose. I want
Mhm.
it to be smaller. So those are people that I want to be in front of them. They are in front of me. They're sharing valuable information. And so you can track that as well. How many people are following you? How are you building your network? And now, if you used to travel and you don't anymore, you used to go to events and you don't anymore, you can go into LinkedIn and search for people that you've been connected with, peers, whatever, or search for brand new people that you may want to reach out and start building a relationship. So you can track that as well. And then you just keep track in that Google Doc that I mentioned earlier. What kind of results am I getting? How much time am I actually spending? Because people are starting to now, the people that do have time at home, not everybody does. I mean, a lot of people are on the front lines. A lot of people are working very hard on pivots and things of that nature. But if you do have time, now is a fantastic time to get the knowledge and then get a good habit started of starting to get things out consistently and tracking your results on LinkedIn, because as you do it time after time, it just compounds. It just
Well,
compounds interest.
and you have control, right? It doesn't
Mm,
cost mailing costs. And you think about how much of your day did you spend commuting? How much of your day was spent, a lot of folks are saying I'm more efficient because I don't have the commuting and so on. So take a fraction of that part of your day. If you're concerned about this, you know, if you're going to pivot and use LinkedIn. It is the business marketplace for sure. And it's widely
yes.
used and it has an enormous, I don't know, it's influential and it's worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you get calls from clients all over the planet to help them out.
Mm-hmm.
And so commit, take the time, measure your success. And, we wanted to make sure that this was a little bit shorter than some of the ones that we've done in the past. And so, you know, Kim's been kind enough to create a worksheet PDF that we talked about in the first part of the show. The worksheet will kind of go over the key areas that we've talked about on the show. It'll tell you what you should be doing, right? And what Kim's been nice enough to say as well is if you want this PDF to help you get started, Kim, how do they get this PDF from you?
Yeah, if you just email admin, ADMIN, at linkability.us. Just send a quick email and then mention in the subject line business leaders podcast, or shorten it to podcast, or what, BL podcast. And then we will go ahead and get that out to you. And if you do want to schedule a profile overview, whether on your personal profile or on your corporate page, there'll be a link within that PDF that says schedule a brief call to discuss your objectives. Just click that. That'll take you right to a scheduling software, and you can schedule a time to do that. And that's just a quick phone call to just give you some pointers, things you can do right now.
And for everybody, Kim and I we talk all the time. And Kim is on the edge of what's going on in LinkedIn now because you do it every day. You do it for customers every day. And so as things
Mhm.
change and the environment around LinkedIn changes, that's your bailiwick, and you bring customers to your clients via LinkedIn. That's what you do.
Correct. We help them accomplish whatever their objectives are on LinkedIn. So
Mhm.
we've launched books, we've filled events, we've sold very high-end products to, Fortune 50 companies. We've helped construct narratives to uh, send out from a branding and client acquisition standpoint. So whatever the objective is on LinkedIn, that we've helped train companies on how to recruit via LinkedIn. So there are many it's very multifaceted in terms of what you can accomplish. And so we help teams and organizations and individuals accomplish those goals. So it's not just about quick, oh, here's a tip from LinkedIn. It's really about developing a strategy, executing the tactics, and then analyzing the results. So the clients that we do are power presence clients, where we actually take over their LinkedIn for them and help them with the outreach and all of that. They stay with us long term because we're able very easily to show what it is that we're doing. That's a beautiful thing about the platform. It's very transparent. It's very immediate. You can see, it's not like doing a direct mail campaign or an ad campaign. I mean, it's very, very quick, and the conversations are immediate. So it can be very, very powerful. And I encourage people, because so much of it is free. It takes your time, takes your effort, but it's free to get going.
Well, to kind of wrap it up a little bit, I was on another conference call today and yesterday, and they were talking about hosting Zoom meetups online. And so let's say you've
Mhm.
got a distributed client base and you've been tracking them on LinkedIn. You could send out an invite and saying, hey, look, we're all going to get together on Thursday afternoon, and we're going to do, check in on everybody. How are you doing? How's your family? How's the relatives? Do your
Yeah.
relatives know how to use this platform or another platform? How do we help you in this time and stay connected? Because people, I think, at some juncture of quarantine, for lack of a better term, are starting to feel a little bit isolated, and I think you can use the LinkedIn platform to reach a large quantity of folks and
Yep.
offer help, offer camaraderie, offer wisdom and that, as a business owner, that you've garnered through the years. And so, Kim, I think, for folks that have been considering or have been rudimentary in using LinkedIn, that this is a great topic to get on top of why they may have more time than normal.
Absolutely. It is a phenomenal tool. And to your point about doing the Zooms, we did that it literally was an idea on a Saturday afternoon. I called a buddy of mine and said, hey, I think we should do this thing. And on Tuesday evening, we did this event, and there were 48 people on the
Mhm.
event, and everybody, and it went on for about 2 hours of
Mhm.
people asking questions. So we were just there. There was no sales funnel thing happening, just like we're doing here. I mean, there's no thing there. It literally is, hey, how can we help? And this is how we can help, because there are people needing to make pivots. There are people that their industry has just been completely uprooted. Wow, we can't do that anymore. What are we going to do
Mhm.
now?
Mhm.
There are people who are very much deer in the headlights. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how we have a client that spends millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars in-person events. They're gone. So
Mhm.
all of those sales that were going to take place, and they were all over the world. They were, events from, I mean, their whole budget, everything. So not only that, but then the group of people that actually do all of that, they are no longer relevant.
Well,
Period. Overnight, boom.
I think about that and go, and then it's binary. It's either going to go back to the way it was or it didn't, right? And if you're betting it's going to go back to the way it is, then you bet 100% on your future that it is. And if you go down this particular path on using this tool, you've covered your bet a little bit. If it doesn't go back that way, you're now taking and using an appropriate tool that you can take and communicate. Zoom is free if you use some parts of it. You can reach out and create this network. And and the intent of this podcast and some of the ones we've done recently, and I guess for as long as we've been doing them, is can we serve the listener? Can we help you with what we talk about? I don't have another agenda. This is not what I do for a living, podcasting. And for you, LinkedIn has been something that's been integral part of what you do, and you're an expert and you lecture on it and you speak from the stage on it, and you accomplish goals for clients with it. So for you folks out there that are going, well, geez, we're looking for what's going on. I mean, you're offering a free review. You've offered a free PDF. I mean, there's all this good stuff. So folks, I would urge you to take advantage of it to get a leg up and add one more thing that you've accomplished during this time. Kim, you've got
Mhm.
something you want to close with?
No, I really I appreciate the fact that we got this together so quick. When did we mention this, Bob? Like on Monday or Tuesday?
Hmm.
We said, hey,
Yeah.
and here it is 2 days later, and we're like, hey, let's get it up there. So don't get caught up in perfection. Don't get caught up in, well, I don't know. Don't get caught up in any of that stuff. Take action because you need to take action as an insurance type of a thing, and something that once you get it up and running will be working for you while you are not working, because your presence online will be established. What you do on LinkedIn spills over into Google. Don't hesitate, take action, because you don't want to be looking at this a year from now and say, oh, I wish I would have.
Well, I think about that comment on perfection. Everybody goes, it's just not good enough. Well, clearly I've not been suffering under perfection for quite some time, and so I look at it, just get it out the door, and your fifth one's going to be better than your first one, and so on,
Yeah.
and get started, start measuring, and start looking at what the key influencers are doing on LinkedIn, and learn and get this out the door, and start making a difference for your family and for your clients and for the prospects that would benefit from working with you. So with that being said, Kim, and again, guys and gals, reach out to Kim. She gave you the links and how to. And Kim, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time to help out.
It was great chatting with you, Bob. Always a
You bet.
pleasure.
All right, kiddo.